So, as a part of my car-based lecture series, now, so this has been a topic I've been thinking about for a little bit for the last 2.5-ish months now. And I've been like, okay, I'm going to sit down and lay out my thoughts on it for a little bit. And that's basically the cross experience and how it plays into the other fields. I'm going to use my experience with, I guess particularly the IT internship I had on dealing with that. And basically what that goes into is the fact that sometimes we don't always think about how the other experience in fields other than, say, IT, for example, play into the field itself. And it's really easy to forget about that. We're putting together a resume. We're like, well, what jobs have I had with IT, dealing with IT before? What credentials do I have that deals with IT? And what people do I know that have dealt with me in the IT field? So what can sometimes end up happening, because based on, depending on who you are, sometimes you don't have that in the field experience per se of doing IT things. But when you get into an interview, you're like, well, I've done this, and this, and it's all been for hobbies. And that works really well. And that plays into IT experience. But then there's also well, I used to be a farmhand, and then I used to do editing for this part company over here, and then I did delivery stuff with this company over here. And so you have experience that's all over the table, and you never put that in your resume. And depending on how you look at it, it could be very valuable if you take those experiences and tailor them to the job that you're looking for, or how it'll help the company. So, in my case, as an intern, it was very valuable to have the experience of the manual labor, because as much as people want to think that, oh, I'm going to go into IT and I'm just going to be able to sit around in an office and do nothing. There are a lot of IT jobs out there that require you to not just sit around and do nothing. In fact, some of these IT jobs actually require you to be able to lift and carry things. So, picking up spools of 1,000 feet of plenum-rated, shielded, twisted pair Cat 6A cable, and being able to take that down the hallway and do it effectively. Or to be able to feel comfortable getting up on ladders and digging into ceilings and stringing wire all the way down hallways and such. And sometimes people don't always have that. They think it's going to be an easy ride. If you want an easy ride where you're not going to have to hardly move at all in an IT-related field, then you may as well go into software development, because that's not going to require a lot of manual labor. But if in prior experience, whether it be in high school or a little bit after, you're going out and you're getting farmhand jobs, you're getting construction jobs, you're getting different jobs with manual labor, then you can take that experience into the IT field, and you're probably in some ways going to be a little bit more fit than the rest of the guys there. You may not always have the body weight to back up, the need to shove something down into the ground or to push something down, but the ability to lift things is going to be there. So there's that. So the other thing too is, with that, you're able to take some of that experience and be like, hey, look, I can do some of this lifting stuff if it requires it too. So depending on the company, that can be a very valuable thing. Oh, not only is he able to lift things, but he's also a hard worker. So if you're able to look at it from that perspective, then it's like, okay, he's a hard worker, he's going to work diligently and get the job done, because that's what he had to do over here in these fields. Sometimes quite literally, you had to get in, do the work, get it done, and get out. So the other thing is, sometimes other experience isn't exactly like the hard skills, like being able to do things. It requires some of those more softer skills, like the stick-it-to-itiveness that it requires to get a job done and then clear out. So like, for example, some people will look for like leadership skills. Oh, you've got critical thinking, you can do this, that, or the other. And there are other experiences that can help show into that. So as an Eagle Scout, some people look at that like, okay, Eagle Scout, that requires getting so many like merit badges, which they've got a few required ones, whether it be like the communications or things like that you can look at like, okay, these are the criteria that you need in order to meet this rank or get this accolade. And they've got to show leadership skill because you've got to do a project and lead a service project. And so it's like, okay, he's got some sort of thinking skill, communication skill, some understanding of like being a good citizen, and also some of that leadership capability. So this is valuable in like on-the-site projects where whether you put that person in management or whether they're merely, you don't have a lead on site, they can still get things done and lead people and direct people in such a way to effectively get the work done. Because nothing sucks more than having your guys sit there and wait for every single instruction at every step of the way. If you've got someone there that is like, okay, we've got to do this, do that, and then sometimes you hit a snag where it's like, well, we've got to get this done, but we've got this obstacle in the way. How do we get around it? Sometimes people with those skills are able to be like, well, if we look at it this way, it's kind of more the critical thinking skills. They're not always reliant on someone else to get the job done for them or to tell them how to do the job. They can figure out how they are given the task to do, and then when snags come up, they are able to work their way around it because they've had this experience of dealing with that before and guiding others in how to get that task done. So you've got the critical thinking and the leadership that go into the IT field, in that sometimes you're going to make a field a very, very, very ghetto-looking solution for something, but it's going to get the job done for now until we can actually flesh out what's going on. So you're able to do that field medicine, per se, in your situation so that you can get people up and running without too much downtime, and then further push the project forward, and then later on come back so that you can get the job done right, because hopefully those people with that leadership skill want to do the job right. So it's kind of these other things that we don't always think about that play into how does this contribute to the company and to the job that I'm looking for. And even if you're looking at starting your own business, it's like, how do these skills play into helping the customer base that I want? So like, for example, I'd be looking into IT consulting for farms. One thing that would play into that is, okay, I've got some of the experience working with farmers, so that gives me a way into the door. But it's not just that. I'm not some urban yuppie coming and looking at saying you should do things like this. It's like, okay, I understand the practicality of why they do the things that they do? How do we like implement this stuff into their workflow so that they are more effective, but so that they can get their job done easier and also meet more of the goals that they have and like fulfill more of their vision for what they want their farm business to do, instead of just like sitting here and waiting and then like it taking, in some cases, taking longer, or them not having the know-how on how to do it. And sometimes even introducing fresh ideas that maybe that might just, that's something that I've considered, or it's like I haven't even thought of that, but I like the idea. And so you're able to build these things so that you get to mesh the two together, because more and more IT and technology is becoming a standard in just about every industry. And then you also create a customer base for other business down the road as well, or continued business. So it's all these skills and experiences coming together into one, that like, what traits do I have that I can put into this field? And it also, in some sense, innovates on that field. So don't sell yourself short. Just remember that you may have more valuable experience than you think you do. And it's just a matter of being able to creatively look at it from different angles. Don't just look at your like, oh, these are the IT jobs that I've had. These are the people that have dealt with me in IT. It's, okay, this person shows that I have these traits. This person shows that I have these traits. And these traits play into the field this way, such that I can actually get things done. Because even in the interview for my internship, I used experience from scout camp, working at a scout camp, and other places to show, hey, I've got these different things. Because one thing that they will look for, even in IT, because you have to work with other people, is those interpersonal skills and the ability to actually resolve problems between people sometimes. Because nothing slows a project down more than conflict shutting down any productivity in the workplace. But yeah, don't sell those things short, and try and look at everything from creative angles. If you enjoyed the video, then like, comment, subscribe, feed the algorithm, boost the video up, share this video with your friends. If you found it informative or you just want to chat, I've got plenty of places in the description, Discord, Guilded, and what have you. Check those out, and I will see you guys in the next one.